Welcome to the Light Your Heart with Hope podcast. I'm Erin, and today we have a very special guest. It's his first time on the podcast, but won't be his last time. My dad, Jim Kelly. Okay, so the reason we're having him on the podcast today is because the Bills play their first season game on Monday night, and we're all going to the game, and we're so excited. So we wanted to talk football today. So,
really? Football?
Yeah,
Yes,
football.
Okay.
Maybe a little faith, maybe.
But we're so excited about the Bills season. But before we dive into this season, I just want to ask a couple questions about your love for football and your past with football, because I know the listeners want to hear about that too. So first and foremost, I know you haven't played in a very long time, but what is your favorite part about being a quarterback and being a leader on your team?
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you are doing an unbelievable job. When I listen to your podcast, I'm like, wow, that's my daughter. I always thought you should have been a sideline reporter, but take daddy's advice. You know I had to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Probably the most important thing, the biggest reason I enjoy playing football is the camaraderie. The friends that you make. I mean, I go back, even back to my high school days, I still talk to some of my buddies that I played with. My high school football coach, as you guys know, Terry Henry, is still my best friend. And just all the times that you spent with those guys, and then going from high school to college, and as you all know, some of my best friends are still my college buddies.
Oh, yeah.
And now with the Bills, we have our annual, I shouldn't say annual, because what we do is we have our group texting. Sometimes it drives me nuts because I'm more of a listener. And
Really?
not
I'm just hearing this for the first time, Daddy.
Mom's chiming
You're
in
more
here.
of a listener. Okay, I'll remember that.
What are you doing in this podcast? But no, seriously, there's like 8 or 9 of us in this group text messaging, and we have so much fun. But as I said before Mommy interrupted, but no, I like listening more, and I like put my 2 cents in there, because boy, when you get Bruce and Thurman and Andre and Daryl Talley and Cornelius Benning, Will Wolford, Steve Tasker, Chris Moore. I think there's a couple more. Some of the things that they say, you laugh your tail off, and some of it's like, oh boy, I'm glad this is not public knowledge. But we have so much fun.
Yeah.
And you guys have been around me enough to know how my buddies impact my life, even when I was going through my tough times, when I talked and I traveled the country speaking all the time, and I always lived by my 4 F's. First one is my faith in a good Lord, because I know I'm still here because of God. God had plans for me, which I did not know a few years back. My number 2 was my family. Not only you two, my 2 beautiful daughters, Erin, you and Cameron, but my lovely wife and how much she has meant to my life. And then my brothers, my 5 brothers, and they're still wackadoodles. I love them. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my brothers. And of course, my friends. As I mentioned, Bruce Thurman, I can go on and on. Greg Chappelle, Jeff Peck, David Kern, Duke, Big Duke, Little Duke, Original Duke. There's so many people that have impacted my life. But when we talked about, you brought it up about football, that's what brought me close to these guys, is being able to share what I have received, what I was blessed to be able to do, and that's play the game of football. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoy it today, maybe not quite as much as some people do, because I'm still that in the quarterback room. I'm still, yelling at the TV. I'm still
know.
I'm still rewind, and they're like, "Don't rewind it, Daddy." I go, "No, I got to see what that receiver did."
He knows, and the plays, and I will say as well that your friends are absolutely amazing. I'm blessed because of your friends and their wives, and through all the years and all that we've been through, your friends have been steadfast and faithful, and I love all of them.
I can say that too, for sure, because I feel like I grew up with them, and with Thurman and Andre and Bruce, I remember they were like family to us, and they always have been. But one thing I'll never forget is when my husband Parker came onto the scene. I remember specifically Andre and Thurman being like, "Who is this kid? Like, do we need to beat him up? Like,
Yes,
who is he?
so
He's
protective
coming
of
into
you."
the family." So yes, always been very protective of me. But I love that about your friends. And do you think that you have seen that translate into the team now, that camaraderie, the teamwork, the family aspect?
Yeah, I see it to a certain point. I mean, I'm not in the locker room to experience the way they are, but when I do talk to Josh and he talks about the players, yeah, I wish I was in there a little bit more than I am. But you know what? I have things I have to do, but the biggest thing that I see is when they're on the sidelines. That's what you have to really put your mind to. As far as when I'm a quarterback. That's what I do. I look at the sidelines all the time to see who Josh is talking to or who Von Miller is talking to. Just really the part of when the game is rolling, how do you come back from whether it's an interception or whether it's a big sack, and how people respond to you as an individual and as a team. And I think Coach McDermott has done a very good job of keeping these guys together. I think the biggest key, and I think I've said this numerous times, is that we have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have your star players watching from the sidelines. You need them on the field. And last year with Von Miller gone, that really hurt us. And now this year we start off the year with Hines, our best special teams guy, now on the sidelines for the entire season. But I'm excited what I see. I mean, these guys have been battling for the last couple of years, and they don't have many, many more years to keep doing. But the thing is, as long as they stay focused, they stay healthy, I think we're going to do a very good job at our schedule. Oh, my word.
Oh, it's a hard one.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you look at the games that we have to play. But you know what? It reminds me of back when I played, too, all the games we had to play. I mean, we always had to go against, Marino twice a year, Elway, Boomer Esiason all the time, pretty much Tua Tagovailoa now. We got Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes, and you got back when I played, it was Boomer Esiason. Now it's that quarterback from Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow.
Very good, Aaron.
I
knew it. I was just testing you.
I know my football.
What about Aaron Rodgers now in our division? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you always want to build your team up, but you have to start with a quarterback. You're not going anywhere if you don't have a quarterback. And I think we got one of the best quarterbacks in the league with Josh. I just wish he wouldn't run so much. I think everybody believes that. But you know what? That's part of his makeup. When we need that big play, he usually has with his legs, but you just got to learn how to get down maybe a little bit more. Quit trying to jump over, people so he's going to get caught midair one of these times. But I just love what we have. I love what I see. I love Buffalo. I love cheering for these players.
Well, if I can just add my 2 cents, because obviously,
okay, that's good.
Because I've been watching from a distance, right? All these years since in my early 20s, I've been with you since I was 21, and I watched the camaraderie and have seen it since you stopped playing. And that's what I see with this team. I do from a distance. I mean, I'm not a part of it at all either, but I see a camaraderie with the players that I haven't seen since you played. So that's encouraging to me. I mean, I don't watch the plays and watch the sidelines like you do, but it seems to me like these guys are playing like a family instead of a team.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I remember when I was little, I would sit in front of the TV and cry when we lost to Tom Brady. Like I was
and you would
so
pray.
invested. I would pray for the team, but I definitely see now, I think this team is different than any other team I've seen in the past. And one of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about Josh is like when you played, you and Dan Marino were like big time rivals. So who do you think Josh's quote unquote Dan Marino is?
Patrick Mahomes, without
I would
a doubt.
agree. Yeah.
Even though Mahomes is in a different division, we're in the AFC East, and if Aaron Rodgers plays 3 or 4 more years, it's going to jump from Patrick Mahomes to Aaron Rodgers as far as that one-on-one aspect. But, as long as Patrick Mahomes stays healthy and he keeps his receivers the way they are, I mean, I just saw Travis Kelce might be out for the first game. And that in itself, when you lose your top receiver, that's not good. I mean, you have to keep guys, as we've said, healthy. Can't have Diggs on the sideline. They can't have Travis Kelce on the sidelines. I mean, you have your players when you're playing that you know in certain situations during the course of a ball game, you know that you're going to look at him because you expect him to get open. You expect him to make that big play. And you have those players on your team, and defenses know that. But you got to be able to utilize the talent that you have around it. Maybe some other players being able to set the legal picks. But you know what? We've been blessed with the excitement that we've had with our Buffalo Bills now. Yeah, you got Aaron Rodgers in the AFC. I talked about Tua Tagovailoa. But you got Mahomes that's coming off. He's won 2 Super Bowls already. We need to get that first one. But as you well know, Aaron, I don't talk Super Bowls. I talk about winning the AFC East first. But that's the player in me. That's what I used to do. I never wanted to talk too much about, going to Super Bowl, even though that is everybody's goal. Everybody's dream is to win that Super Bowl, get to that Super Bowl and be able to play and get that opportunity to win. And not somebody wins, somebody loses. But I'll tell you what we were able to do back to back to back to back will never be done again. I mean, if it is, that's unbelievable. You know what? Yeah, I get it. We lost. We didn't win any. But I'll tell you what we had in our locker room, that camaraderie that we were talking about earlier, being able to stay together, because I knew going into training camp, I knew Thurman and, Will Wolf, Ken Hall, and Bruce and all of them. Physically, they were ready to play. Mentally, I wasn't sure because I'm the quarterback. I'm the leader on the team. And when you lose, say, 2 or 3 in a row, you hear that negativity in the offseason. And is that going to wear on anybody? Yeah, it does to a certain point, but how can you turn that around? So going into training camp, I remember going from the 3rd year to the 4th year after we lost 3 in a row, but we made 3 in a row, AFC champions 3 in a row. But going to training camp, I wasn't sure what the mentality was going to be with the players. It took me one day at training camp to realize these guys are focused. You know what our motto was? Let's go for 4. So that was our motto, and boy, was it shown in the locker room. But it wouldn't have been able to be as great if we did not have Marv Levy as our head coach. Yeah. What a leader he was. What a leader he still is. He just turned 98 years old.
Wow.
The guy's amazing. I just saw him at the Hall of Fame. It's like he's 70 years old. He's amazing. And he was the reason we were able to make the four in a row. He knew what to say, when to say it. And unfortunately, we didn't win it. And he was probably one of the main reasons, if we won, I would say I won it for coach.
I love that. Speaking of the Super Bowls, I have to ask if we are to go to the Super Bowl this year.
No, you're not going.
No, that was my question. Come on.
We all have to go.
Of course. Yeah, well, those, end zone tickets cost them like $3,500 now. Oh, my word. Oh, come on, people. Oh, well.
Okay, so to wrap this up, I want to ask a few fun questions. Some would you rather questions. Okay, so the first one, would you rather get sacked 5 times or throw 5 interceptions?
Oh, sack 5 times, big time. That's a no-brainer.
We thought this would be your answer.
Without a doubt.
All right, the next one. Would you rather be a head coach or a QB coach or a wide receiver coach?
To be honest with you, none of the above.
Come on. If you were going to be a coach.
Just answer the question.
Just to give you a little background, we have asked him many times to coach, but it's during hunting season, so.
You gotta know your priorities. Yeah, my priorities is, you know what, just to throw 2 cents into that one. Hunting season, I go out there and we hunt and everything, but my main focus is it's almost like being in the locker room. You're with your buddies. More than anything, it's the camaraderie we have. It's always so much fun. I know there's people probably even listening that don't like hunting. I get that. I'm sorry, but it's me. If you don't like it, don't follow me. But no, the bottom line is if I wanted to coach, it would have been my son Hunter. Mm-hmm. And I miss him so much. Every Valentine's Day, pretty much every day, I'm with our nephew, my nephew, your cousin, Zach. who was born 11 days before Hunter was. And he always goes to these hunting trips with me. He's a big part of our family. And now your husband is Parker. He's now a big part of that. And I just wish I was able to enjoy that with Hunter. I always dreamt about that. I never will put that on the back burner. He's going to be front and center all the time in my life because, but I do understand why the good Lord did that. And through Hunter, he's made me the man I am today. I would not be here if it wasn't for Hunter being in heaven. But now he set another goal, another dream for me, and that's to see him someday in heaven, which
Amen.
I know I will, and be able to throw some footballs with him and coach him in heaven. So I look forward to that. But to answer your question, I apologize for going on a ramble there. But
usually that's me, Daddy.
I probably head coach, but the thing, because I know how to treat players. I know how to motivate them. I know good from bad. I know my biggest thing, as you well know, it's not what you say to somebody, it's how you say it to them. Mm-hmm. And I've always been that way. And yeah, there's times where I probably shouldn't have said some things that I did say. And that, it's all part of it. You learn, you live, you learn. But the bottom line is right now, I am here doing this podcast with two of my favorite ladies. Jill, you've been the wonder of my life. You've been the woman that every husband could pray for. Thank you very much for all you've done.
Did you just call me Wonder Woman?
Yeah,
I thought it sounded like you called me Wonder Woman.
but you know what? The things that you still do, it just blows my mind. Erin, you're as tough as I am. And probably maybe even tougher because you've been through a lot yourself and continue to go through some of the things you go through. And then Cameron, that's my baby girl. And I just pray each and every day for her. But you know what? I'm very blessed to have the family I do. I'm very blessed to have the son-in-law I do in Parker because his passion for the outdoors is just like mine and probably a little bit more. And I just want to thank you for all you've done to make my life the way it is. And Hunter, I look up in the air and I say, I will see you someday, but not quite yet.
Well, thank you for being who you are, Jim, too. Yeah. You have inspired us, and I know you encourage and inspire countless people that you don't even know.
I just want to end this episode with saying what I say at the end of all of my interviews that I've done on this podcast, and something that I learned from you. And it's that make a difference today for someone who is fighting for their tomorrow. Can you just explain to the person listening where that came from and what that means to you?
I'll try to keep it short. About 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know how many years ago, after a speaking engagement, I was walking away, and this gentleman came up and started talking to me, and he said that how my speech, how my talk impacted him in what he's going through and some of his friends are going through. He said, I will definitely pass this along because what you just said today is going to make us better tomorrow. So I went back to my room, and I'm laying in my hotel bed, and I'm thinking about what this guy said, and I came up with the saying, make a difference today for someone who's fighting for their tomorrow. And when I did that, I hurried up, got out of bed, went over and wrote it down because I knew, I've been hit upside my head a few too many times, and I knew I'd forget if I didn't write down, and I did. And then I just looked at it, and then I started saying it over and over again and how much it has impacted me. As I said before, I travel the country speaking, as you well know. I'm on the road a lot. But the thing is, it impacts people, and the emails that we get after my speeches, the people I talk to after, it's amazing. And, years ago, I was always wondering why God would do this all to me, why he would make me go through, having a son born on my birthday, losing 4 Super Bowls in a row, have him, go to heaven, and then being diagnosed with cancer 4 times, and all these things were happening to me. I get it now. Because God had plans for me. That's to be able to go travel with him beside me and be able to impact other people. So they do not give up on their life. They do not give up on their loved ones. And you don't have to be a Hall of Fame quarterback or a musician or, whatever. You could be just an everyday person, a school teacher, a truck driver, somebody who works 9 to 5 to be a difference maker. You don't have to be a star. You can be a difference maker every day of your life. All you have to do is impact somebody. If you see somebody out there that's not doing well, or maybe it's your mother or your father, maybe it's a buddy of yours, maybe a close friend that you see not having a good day, what a hug. What a, I love you, and say you'll be all right. And that smile that you guys put on my face every time you walked into my hospital room when they didn't think I was going to make it. Not many people did. But what you guys did for me by, impacting my visual of seeing you girls smiling, and I understand what you did once you left the room, but that didn't matter. When you're around me, you never one time had a frown on your face. You went in there with an attitude to make my day better by your presence, what you said, and what you look as far as your look on your face. And I thank you all very much for that. And I want to thank all the listeners out there too, because I know there's so many people out there that have been big Buffalo Bill fans and big Aaron Kelly fans and maybe, my fans back in the day. But the thing is, you don't have to be a Jim Kelly to be able to be a difference maker. You can each and every day. So I just thank you, Aaron, for doing this. I enjoy doing it, and it's been way too long. We need to do this again sometime soon. So
yeah, we have
I agree. Absolutely. And one day you'll be on here sharing your story. But thank you for talking about the Bills. And to wrap this up, I think we have something we need to say. Dad,
I know one thing that I say each and every time and I'm on Cameo, and I do this after every Cameo. The last thing I have to say is, let's go, Buffalo! Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? God bless everybody. Thank you for listening.